How?
Discúlpame que tengo. I was just finishing lunch, so.
No, eat, be merry. It's been so long since I've seen you. How have you been?
I know, 4 years.
I know. How do you, what are you feeling? What are the new, you feeling better, progressed? We were always, I think our last conversation was very existential.
It was, yes, but it's because we were in the pandemic, so it was like everything felt a little heavy. But you know what? Things are great. Honestly, like I feel like we all as a whole, most of us as humans got a little bit of more wisdom, I will say. I'm always super like positive and I would like to think that. Pero yeah, I think everything's been going great. I've been writing more music. I got a team that I can work with now that is like more cohesive. So I don't know. So many things have happened. So many things have happened. So
You should. It's been 4 years.
yeah,
It should be
exactly.
happening.
That's right.
But when you think about it, like in terms of sonically, do you feel, what do you feel has most changed about you in terms of las letras que estás escribiendo y
Mhm.
el sonido? Like, do you feel, what is it saying about your personality now?
You know what? I wanted to explore a lot. So if you check out like most of the songs that I've released after the 2020 album are like very different one from the other. And I wanted to give myself that freedom that, like, like I don't want to box myself into one thing or another. Although, the rock, the base of the rock and roll is always there. But I wanted to like explore with other rhythms. So um, and I don't know. I think like lyrically, I always feel like I talk about many things about like me introspecting about myself, understanding myself. Like this is my auto therapy. Although I do uh, advise everybody to do therapy no matter what. Pero te ayuda pues como a canalizar cosas, ¿no? Sentimientos. Entonces, I don't know, sometimes I write mostly about, trying to understand my psychic. And not too many like love songs or something like that, like amor o desamor, like not that I don't want to, it's just that I don't know, that's what came out naturally to me. So, te podría decir, a ver, después de ese álbum, como al final del año, se murió pues el vecino que vivía al lado nuestro, que pues que le dio COVID y no sé qué, y su esposa. Sí, entonces fue un poco como triste eso, y entonces escribí una canción que se llama Se olvida, súper cortavenas, acústica, muy, 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 muy raw. Eh, y luego después de ahí saqué Evolucionar como una canción que te hace pensar mucho como precisamente en la muerte, como que pues igual todos nos vamos a ir, so we better make the best out of it, not wait for anybody or anything. Hay una parte de la canción que dice, quiero ser como el mar y el sol, no esperan. Y es like, fortunately or unfortunately, it doesn't matter if somebody died, if you didn't get something or the other, the sun is gonna shine the next day. The sea is gonna keep going, the ocean is gonna keep moving no matter what. So, um, yeah, it's like we tend to think like, oh, when I get the perfect job, when I get the perfect partner, when I get the perfect inspiration, when I get the perfect song, no, you just gotta do it. Just let go and do the things that you're meant to, or your heart calls up to do. Después de ahí saqué una canción que se llama Balas, that I remember I was just, in this writing mode, and I remember um, something that happened to me when I was in Colombia, in Medellin. There was había un tiroteo en el barrio.
Mm.
And so my mother, my cousin, and I were living together in the same apartment. We heard like all this noise. And so we went out like just to see what's going on. And my cousin went straight to the window, and I don't know how she o sea, esquivó una bala. And the bullet came in through the window, broke the window. The three of us dropped down on the floor. So I don't know, just this very strange story that I remember. I was like, oh, I don't know, it came out so easily when I was like, writing the song. So I was like, I will tell the story about that uh, unfortunate situation which we survived to. Y es algo como que pasa mucho en nuestros países latinoamericanos, ¿no? Tanta violencia. So many people connected with the song right away, porque hay una parte que dice que no insista el cielo en acortarnos este vuelo. Like there's so many abrupt deaths, that make no sense because of violence.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, things like that. It's been like I've been releasing songs little by little. The latest one was Pantallas that talks about how us, well, me especially, I found myself being addicted to the screen, just scrolling and scrolling. I was like, what am I doing? And then you look at like how long you've been on the whatever app, and you're like, oh my God, this many hours doing this and this, and I have no time to do XYZ.
Well,
So
I think that's the irony of like la pandemia, entonces
mm,
vas. It's like this kind of you're surrounded by death. You literally face it, and then
mhm.
somehow you're still on your phone, wasting time.
Yes,
Because
yes.
it's like you don't you officially know you're not going to have life forever. But at the
Mm.
same time, it's like you don't know what to do with it.
Yeah, I think mostly is we we were not aware, we're not aware that it's the dopamine hits are so strong in the phone that, I mean, we, even though we know about something, we don't do it. And I don't think everybody wants to do it. It's just that we are not aware. It's like I don't know, when you have a habit, like let's say you are writing on your keyboard like this, and then that habit gives you a carpal tunnel, and you
Yeah.
never figured that out until like it was hurting you. So yeah, that's something that struck me. And so that song Pantallas talks about that, like also when you're with friends. I also was seeing like some friends that I will go out with, I will never see him like every once in a 3 months or 6 months, and then we go out and have dinner or whatever, and they're always on their phone. So I was like, this makes no sense. It's so ridiculous. Like, and obviously I don't want to be, rude and tell him like, dude, we don't see each other that much for you to be on the phone and
No,
not talking to me.
I don't think it's just, it's not even about rude. It's that I don't know, you were saying, let's just do, vamos a hacerlo. Simplemente
Mhm,
no puedes esperar, hazlo. Yo creo que no sabemos qué hacer. Tenemos
mhm,
ideas, la gente están como tan cansadas.
sí,
I feel like people are there's this idea that people are apathetic, but I really think people are just tired. By the time they
mhm,
get home, they just really want to receive, and doing is giving. So there's
mhm,
something about scrolling through your phone that gives to you. I mean, you laugh, you cry,
mhm,
you dream. It's 10 seconds, a series of 10-second videos. It's very easy to get trapped in that because
mhm.
there's so much that we do that's not even for ourselves, that by the time we get our time, we're just ready to rest.
True. True.
I think,
Yeah, and to that point, then we have another song that is coming out on Friday, tomorrow, April 26th. It's called Piensa en ti. Precisely. Think about yourself, no? Como que, and not from an egotistical point of view, but from a self-care point of view, you know,
Mm.
like there's tons of people that take care of others, which is great. You know, we need those people. We need people who are caring and whatever. But I don't know if it has happened to you, but I've met people that just neglect themselves. So it's a song that is like the most optimistic, positive song I've ever written so
I think
far.
I love it. I think I don't know. I feel like everybody is neglecting themselves in some way. But I
Hmm.
think that that's what you were talking about, like with the phone and piensa en ti. It's just this what does it mean to acknowledge yourself, to give yourself space? Because
Hmm.
también there's always, people buy self-help books and they start, washing their face more often. And there's always this feeling of like, but what else do I do? Es como lo empiezan a hacer y no lo terminan.
Yes, yes, yes. Well, that's something that I kind of like acquired in the pandemic. I got into this. I downloaded an app to create habits, good habits. And so, yeah, I created new habits. Like I meditate every day. I can't live a day of my life without meditating in the morning. I mean, I won't function the same. And habits like that, you know, workout, drink water, you know, basic stuff that we just take for granted, you know. So, yeah, we also like I made myself a promise to myself to like see a professional at least once a month, you know, like, hey, this is what's going on. Even if nothing is happening, you know, just understanding from a professional point of view, from the outside inside to the inside helps a lot. So it has helped me a lot. I think I've grown uh better in many ways. I think yeah, I feel more mature in many ways, which is funny because in the airport I was I just came from the airport and there was a mistake on my birthday. It was like I was 10 years younger. And the person was like, "Oh, I think you wish to be 10 years younger. I mean, you look 10 years younger, but no, you're not. You have to go back and fix this." So I was thinking to myself that, like, no, I'm like 10 years ago, I was not the person that I am right now. I don't have all the knowledge that I have right now, the tools, the strength, you know, the self-love that I've given it took me a long time to rebuild myself, you know? So,
I love that. I
yeah.
Because it's funny, I wrote this song about Amy
Mm,
Winehouse, and I was
okay.
with my friend yesterday, and she's kind of taking a very similar journey to you, where she's going to therapy and she's just really trying hard not
Mm-hmm.
to be upset. Like just not upset. Something goes wrong,
Okay.
okay, moving on. I'm just going to
Accept it.
focus on the good. I'm just going to build the good in a way that is so habitual, like trying
Mm,
to make positivity a genuine habit.
mm,
I found that I was so happy for and proud for her because she has, this crazy background herself of violence and just like
mm.
family. Um,
Yeah.
ya tú sabes, algunos miembros de familia son. And I was thinking, I wrote this song, and I thought I wrote like, I wish you would have stayed to experience the magic of growing old. I think
Mm,
that we live in a world that can be a little youth obsessed,
mm-hmm.
and
Definitely.
I don't in meeting older people, what always makes me kind of like sad and happy for them is that they're like, I didn't figure things out till I was 58. I wasn't happy
Yes.
till I was 46. And I was like, what?
Yes, yes, yes.
It's like it just takes so much time to even
Mm-hmm.
get to a place where you can move.
Yes, yes. You know, thinking about what your friend said, something that gave me a lot of peace as well was to realize is that it's okay to be mad at times. You can't repress those feelings because otherwise it becomes in a health issue. Literally, literally. If
Mm,
you don't release it, not against the world, just go to your bed and just bang the bed, you know, whatever, or your pillow. But I mean, you can't repress those feelings. Number one. Number two is that happiness. is not a constant. There's not such thing as ultimate happiness. It doesn't exist. There's
Yeah.
gonna be contrast, and we have just getting uh making peace with it. It's gonna help anybody to just keep the balance. Like, hey, there's bad things, but I know something better is coming, because that's how life is the order of the universe. Is light and darkness, so.
Do you think it's okay? I agree with you. I think we need to feel anger. We need to feel
Mhm,
be allowed to say this person was horrible and I don't have to, be virtuous about this and turn this into positive. It could just be bad. Do you
mhm.
think it's okay to wish people bad?
No, of course not. Of
No,
course
because
not. It's not.
I was we I and the only reason to give you a disclaimer, I was watching
Mhm.
TikTok, doom scrolling, and this
Yeah.
woman was saying, I'm so tired of saying, it's over. I wish them the best. She's like, I don't wish them the best. I don't. I actually wish them harm. And at best, I don't wish them anything. But I'm gonna let myself be okay with that anger, and that anger that manifests in wishing them harm, because I don't necessarily think harm will come to
Mm,
them. I don't know. I don't know if I don't know if ill wishes come true.
mm.
In the same,
I
I don't know if true wishes come true. Like I think it's
mm,
just all up for grabs sometimes.
well, it all depends. It all depends how powerful you think you are, because
Mm.
words are powerful. Feelings, more than, words and feelings, most especially feelings, are super powerful. And I can tell you, because I know when I feel something, it comes true one way or another. So I will say to that person, listen, it's okay to be upset about somebody, but do they deserve your energy of, like, all that energy you created to wish them harm? Why don't you use that energy to create something for yourself?
I
Make
love
yourself a cake, you know?
I love that. I love that. I never saw it like that, because everything is an energy exchange. And I think
Yeah.
part of why some people get angry in term, especially like I know you were saying you don't write love or desamor. Amor, ni canciones de amor, ni canciones de desamor.
Uh-huh.
But I do think that everything is an energy exchange. And sometimes the sadness of people is that we do have to learn the hard way. And we have to
Mhm.
learn the same lesson 20 million times. And like with that friend, we were talking about how
Mhm.
we have found so many instances in our life, like we were dating the same person or becoming friends
Mm.
with the same person, just a different face. And it's like,
Yes.
why? Why? ¿Por qué? La misma persona.
Uh, I tell you the reason why. Because we haven't learned something.
I know. I know.
That's just, if you take everybody in your world and every situation as a learning opportunity instead of a problem or a difficult person, then you get it. Oh, this person is teaching me this about myself, that
Mm,
I don't want to hang out with people like that, that I deserve better, that oh, like, like, when it just helps you figure yourself out more, you understand yourself better now. So I think things repeat themselves when you have not learned the lesson. Just like when you burn yourself once. Oh, burn myself with this fósforo, and then you put
yeah.
your finger again, you burn yourself again until you finally get it. Oh, I can't put my finger on the fire because it's gonna burn me. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I like that. I like that because it kind of is saying it's not just about learning the lesson, but not paying for it anymore. Sometimes I wonder if that's why lessons repeat. We think
Mm-hmm.
we have to suffer. We can't just learn. We have to grieve.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's something that we have ingrained in our society. Well, I don't know, especially me personally. I was brought up Catholic, and
Mm,
it's always about pain, and it's my fault, and everything is
For me.
suffering, and Jesus on the
Yeah,
cross.
yeah, yeah.
Everything is just so painful. So it just I was brought up with, just life is hard, love is hard, everything is difficult, and when you break that chain, you say, no, it doesn't have to be difficult. I told my husband, love cannot be hard. We have to love each other, and it has to come easy, otherwise it doesn't work. It doesn't work. Love has to come easy. Life can be easy. Obviously, there's gonna be moments where, as I said before, it's not a constant. It's not always gonna be great. And it's okay. It's okay to not be great all the time.
I think one thing that I'm learning is to be more scared of being lonely than alone.
Mm.
And the sense of, I think that's why people repeat relationships and repeat lessons. Misery is company. It is
Oh,
comfortable.
yes.
It is satisfying. And happiness
Mm.
feels so big, especially like when you think somebody's happy by themselves. You're like, that looks so lonely. I think
Mm.
it's just a really hard concept. It's not
Yes.
something that is taught or trained or promoted, but we need to
True.
learn it.
Yes, definitely. Fear in general. Um, Once I asked Abby Wambach, and she went to a conference, and I asked her, "How do you conquer fear?" The soccer player, right?
Yeah.
And she's like, "Oh my God, I've never been asked that question. You just never conquer fear. You just live with it. Just live with it." He
Ooh.
said that to me. I was like, "Oh my God, this woman has been like World Cups and the toughest tournaments and whatever." And she said that to me. So I was like, it's okay to live with fear again. You just, go for it. You have to keep doing it anyways. I am scared to get on stage always, 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 always. Before I get on stage, I'm a nerve wreck, but I still do it anyways. And I think we have to make ourselves a map, just like when we were talking before, like
Yeah.
people don't know where to go. Well, then write yourself a map. What do you want in this year? I wrote myself a map myself, like, okay, 2024, I would like to do this, do that, do this, and I look at it every day. Okay, what am I doing every day? Just a little thing, just one little thing that gets me closer to this map. Um, but going back to not being lonely and everything like that is just because we are so used to the old self, our old selves. It's comfortable. It's what we
Mm.
know. It's our so it's hard to get out of those habits, those thinking habits, those habits that about the feeling habits as well. Like we are used to being always in the fight or flight habit, and it just takes work,
I
and we
think
all
it's,
learn at different times and paces.
yeah, that's true. I think we need to give ourselves grace. And it
Hmm.
reminds me of something I have like a little book of quotes. And you know how like you're like, especially as an artist, you must have like random, very wise thoughts. And I remember a few years ago thinking to me, like, it's fearless, it's less fear.
Hmm.
It's never gone. It's all
Yes.
about moving. You still have to carry it no matter what. You just don't have to
Exactly.
feel it so much. It doesn't have to feel so full.
Exactly.
I need to do that. I need to embrace that. But I
And
was
also change the focus. Sorry, and also change the focus. I was reading a book while I was on tour with Cafe Tacuba last year. So I always, to wind down, from the stage and the excitement, I read before I go to bed. And I picked up this book. It's called oh my God, The Art of Music. Wait, I have it here. Don't mind my mess.
no.
Pero The Inner Game of Music. The Inner Game of Music, which is based on the inner game of tennis.
Okay.
Uh, so it gave me a lot of tools, like, okay, if you're afraid, if you're scared, fine, but just try to give yourself visual cues, like, oh, I'm looking at this person's eyes and I'm gonna lock eyes with this person and she's, my anchor for the show. Or then focus on the kick, just focus on the kick all the time. Just listen to the kick and that's it. Things like that that bring you back to like think about what's happening and not what is in the back of your head telling you what not to do. So that helped me a lot too.
I like that. I need to do that because I think you were one of the first people to congratulate me when I started doing my own music. I was like, "Oh, thank you. Te quiero. Hola,
Yeah.
Isabel."
Yes.
And it was so moving because it's been a journey of confidence, of trying to find my voice. And
Mm,
just like I've tried to collab with people and it has not worked out. But that's where I think it's not just about the lessons you learn, but like the lessons that are specific to you, like the karma a little bit. Like sometimes
mm.
I feel like I have always had my one of the lessons I've been learning is to trust myself. I can do it. Don't seek beyond you.
Yes, yes, yes.
Sometimes that's why you're like, why doesn't things work out? Maybe my our lessons can be different.
Definitely. Yes, I think self-doubt is a big thing, for all of us. You know, um, when you say it's the song good enough, is this line good enough? And then you overthink the song and you're like, oh my gosh, I forget about this song.
Or doing
Um,
production. I hate doing vocal production. I'm like, oh my God, I don't know. Mixing, mastering.
yes.
Todo eso. You have to be. I just finished an interview with Rumbo Tumba about
Mhm.
like just the overwhelmingness of having to do everything and be everything for yourself for so long. It's
Yes.
like, oh, always learning skill. He had to learn to be his manager, his booker, do his concerts.
Mm.
It became like it's great, but it's also like, oh man.
It's a little overwhelming, but at the same time, I take it as a superpower. Like
Yeah.
you're like playing a video game, and you're like, oh, I'm in the next level. Then in the next level, I learned this, and then the next level, I learned that. So, yeah, sometimes the learning curve is frustrating because you're like, oh my god, it's gonna take me 2 hours to edit this video, and then how do you do this? And then when you unlock it, you're like, no, I know how to do this thing.
Now I'm a videographer.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, I know that like every time we end an interview, I always pull like oracle cards for you.
Oh,
So la última vez lo hice. I got the
mhm.
Herald, which means longing.
¿Qué es
Rabbit,
eso?
the Herald, which means
The
longing.
Herald.
Algo
Mm,
que deseas mucho. Si ves ahí el mal de ojo, el conejo significa buena suerte. Eh,
nice.
The Chiromancer, que es como colaboraciones. A
Mm,
Chiromancer es alguien que puede manifestar. Es como alguien que sabe mover las piezas para
oh,
conseguir lo que quieres. Y lo último, la guía, que es como guiándote hacia lo que tú quieres. So it's kind
mm,
of like, and if you see there's keys in the back, it seems like your message is that some of the things that you've been most longing for the longest time, you're going to start to collaborate and find people and make new moves so that this time you get it.
mm.
Like you're
I
moving
think
from longing to receiving.
nice. Yeah, I guess that makes sense because we've been reaping ¿cómo se dice? Como estamos sembrando tanto tiempo, and,
Yeah.
and, and doing the big effort and like training in every single way to connect with more people as Wonderfox, to get to more ears, to get more people to know us. And yeah, I also have this feeling like somebody somewhere is gonna, acknowledge that the music has a good message and a good, sense of connectivity with everybody else. So yeah, it's already happening. I
Yeah.
see it already happening.
Yeah, I think that's what it's confirming. Just this feeling of you're going into the harvest.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Nice. Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you, Diandra.
Pues muchas gracias, Isabel, como siempre.
A
I hope
ti.
to see you sooner than 4 years, damn.
I know, I know, I know. ¿Tú vives en New
En
York?
Nueva York.
nice. Pues
Yeah.
sí, yo te aviso, ojalá que we're looking for opportunities to go to the East Coast, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, reach
Ahí
out.
te aviso. Okay. Hey, good luck with your music.
Oh,
I'm
thank you, thank
gonna
you. I'm doing more. I'm coming out with some new stuff. I told you about the song I'm writing, so I'm excited. I'm going
When's it
to
coming out?
embrace it. I'm planning for it to come out mid-May. I just, como tú dijiste, I want to tirarlo. At this
Mhm.
point, I'm overthinking too much.
Yeah,
And I think that it's just about overwhelming, like just putting everything out there and seeing what sticks.
got
Giving
it. Yeah.
yourself the grace to grow, but also the grace to go.
Yes, definitely. Something that has happened to me, I don't know if maybe this will help you in some way, but personally, like sometimes I work too long in a song that it gets me, it tires me. It just makes me tired, the song. And then I say it's not good enough. So I stop it. And I work on a different song. And then I revisit the song a month later to see if it's really me being tired about the song because I've been working on it so long, or is the song good, like objectively?
Mm.
And it has helped me, it's given me like another view, like just not a view from, okay, this is what I like, but is the song good
See,
for me?
I think my thing is, learning the skills, particularly in terms of vocals. I think it's the technical stuff. I don't doubt my
Mhm.
talent, my story, my voice. I love my songs. Estoy como Kanye.
Nice.
Okay. I'm
But
like this,
that's the way to be.
but it's the technical stuff and the kind of always having to learn and
Mm,
push because I it's like my problem is I'm already where I want to be in my head, pero
mm,
necesito caminar hacia allá. And the walking there, it's hard and boring and tedious, and you get a little like you get almost trapped by your mind because in your mind
mm.
you're living where you want. So you
Yes.
stay there. And then it's like it could be reality, but you have to walk. And there's like, no,
Mm,
because in the mind I'm there. I'm not walking, I'm there. And
true.
that's where my clash is. It's not this doubt
Mm,
over my music. It's this constant need to learn new skills that it's almost like I just want to get there.
yes, yes, yes. Oh, okay. Patience. You
Yeah,
know?
paciencia,
O
paciencia.
sea, paciencia, pero síguelo haciendo. Don't stop.
Yeah, paciencia y fe. Paciencia, fe.
Es paciencia, fe y acción. Acción, sigue haciendo.
Pues muchas gracias, amiga. This was
A
lovely.
ti.
And I'm happy for your harvest. I'm happy for your harvest.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Good to see you again. Hope
Thank
to
you.
see you
Thank
again
you.
very soon.
I hope so too.
Dale
Adios.
pues. Chao.